campaign
What,
related.
what's going in at the corner of Alcosta and Bollinger? That you know, where they took out the fountain or the whatever.
Oh yeah,
What's
that is basically going to be all landscaping. There
oh,
used to be a fountain there years
right.
and years ago. I mean, even I've been here 14 years and I haven't seen that fountain, but I've heard there was a fountain, and we finally approved landscaping. So if you look outside, it actually there is a picture of what all is going to go on there. So that got approved a while back. Again, that was paused. It was ideally supposed to get completed this year, and it's one of the projects which the city has approved
Okay.
to be completed this year. I sit on the infrastructure subcommittee as well, and these are some of the projects that come in front of the infrastructure subcommittee: renovation of our community centers, renovation of our different infrastructure and things like that. It's going to be quite interesting. This year our budget did well. We were actually able to pull a little bit of money out of our reserves, but not a whole lot. It was pretty balanced. Some of it was because we were not able to do a lot of parks and community services events, which the biggest one being Art and Wind Festival, where really the money goes towards parks and community services. And so those funds were kind of then used for other things, and it helped us balance the budget. Next year will be interesting how we really look at the budget, because the effects of this year will trickle into what happens in the next budget cycle. In a way, San Ramon, not having as much retail in San Ramon has helped us a little bit, because we were not as heavily dependent on retail as Danville or some of the other Walnut Creek and those cities were. We were getting, we're getting most of our funding through our housing, so property taxes. So we'll see how that, how we then look at some of our infrastructure projects that have been coming in front of council. And if anybody wants to kind of see, we have, I can send it out later. We have a whole list of what we call our SIP projects that is on the city's website, and you can look at what the city is looking to improve and invest in. The other thing, we also have a multi-year plan for people's streets and things like that on the infrastructure committee, where you can see when your street will get paved, when you're up next. So a lot of people have that question, and that's kind of staggered over the next 5 years, how we invest in different streets and how we make sure they're paved. San Ramon feels very proud that we have a very high score, and Council Member Scott Perkins, if you ever want to have that discussion, he's very passionate about it and knows each and every street way more than I do. And he will talk about it all day long about what that looks like.
Hi Sabina, this is Adil. First of all, congratulations on an amazing work that you and your team has done. It's done fantastically. I see that. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
So, when elected, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when elected mayor for San Ramon, what would you do something differently that is already happening? Like, do you have a scope of a specific area or a bigger project that you want to do differently compared to what the current mayor is doing?
Yeah, and one thing I want to say, right, I want to build upon what the past councils and past mayor and everybody's done, because everybody does love living in San Ramon. We like what we've built as a community, but what I'm able to bring now is a lot of it is my background in working in technology, commuting in the Bay Area, the pain I felt, being somebody who worked in Silicon Valley, had my work-life balance impacted. So for me, it's very, very important to really bring attention to that and see that how we can, as a city, partner with other Silicon Valley companies and bring attention to the fact that San Ramon, we have the brain power, we have we have the business resources as well. How do we build an infrastructure which will support people who want to work from home? I mean, this wasn't in the plans, but this is something I've been talking about for years. But now with COVID, it seems like companies are realizing the importance of letting people work from home. And how do we become a city which is inclusive and which builds the infrastructure which allows people to really work from home and work from anywhere? For me, I mean, I think people should be able to work from our parks. People should be able to, coffee shops, when they came about a year, quite a few years ago, nobody thought those would be places where people work from. But now coffee shop, more than anything else, people just go out and work from coffee shops. And why can't we build kind of a similar infrastructure in our parks where picnic tables and everything is great, but how about having some workstations where people can watch their kids play and work from there, where we have citywide Wi-Fi and we have a way to connect in a park as well. We have 58 parks, so I think we can really use those parks for so many other things as well. For me, it is also important that San Ramon really be seen as the leader in the Tri-Valley. When I went to the mayor's conference earlier this year, one of the things you notice immediately, the Tri-Valley is very small compared to the larger cities we're competing against for dollars to bring back to the to the region. We're less than, as a region, the 5 cities, Dublin, Danville, San Ramon, Livermore, and Pleasanton, as a Tri-Valley, we are less than 500,000. And when we go to for federal funding or state funding, we're trying to bring dollars back to our community. And we're competing against cities which are million, 2 million, 3 million. So how do we, one, as a region, for me, it's very important to work as a region, not in silos. And then as a region, how does San Ramon lead the charge for some of this? So those are things that are really important to me in terms of bringing, that perspective to San Ramon. I am, again, very, very passionate about the arts as well. And I really hope that in the next few years, we will be able to bring a lot more attention to the arts as we talk about a community which has grown and developed. And like Dave said, whether you're from Indiana or you're from India, it's a common language. And how do we really bring it about in the community where it's seen and it's felt, and we become known beyond the city that is known for its hills and open spaces. We're also known for our arts and culture as well. So it would be, I've talked about parades. I would love to have a parade come to San Ramon. I know people would love to have fireworks. That's a conversation I continue to have. Anybody who's lived in San Ramon for a very long, long time misses the fireworks, but we have to find one unifying, the Art and Wind Festival is amazing, but I think we have to find more ways to celebrate as a community. And so for me, that is important, building a community in San Ramon. We're an amazing city. We've done a great job with our infrastructure, with preserving our hills, with building a nice city. We really now need to come together as a community. So those are kind of the 3 things I really want to talk about, is that how do we become a whole community? And I hope through conversations and through engagement with our citizens, we can really come together as in that. So I hope that answered your question.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Perfect. I guess one of my follow-up questions, I mean, I see you have just amazing grand plans for, of course, all the adults. Now, in terms of the kids, I mean, it may fall outside your jurisdiction per se, but I'm sure you have a say in terms of the school openings during this COVID era. And if we can promote maybe some education and learning from home and maintaining the quality of the STEM education at home, that would be great. I just want to know what's your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so for me, it's very important that we work much more closely with the school board. I have asked for, having meetings with the school board. Obviously, the school board makes those decisions, but we have friends on the school board that we can talk to and ask for their partnership. So I would love to see more of a collaboration, even more than what we do already with the school board, because a lot of people in our community live in San Ramon because of our great schools. And so it's very, very important that we maintain that and we serve the parents that, that come here for the schools. Some of the things, like I said, citywide Wi-Fi so that we're inclusive when kids are working from home. It's not just people who are affluent or can afford a good network are able to have that work from home or study from home or work, school from home experience. But anybody in San Ramon should have access to Wi-Fi, and that should be free for everybody as a citywide Wi-Fi. I would love to see that. Again, in terms of supporting kids, and like I said, this is certainly a school board thing, and we can use our partnerships with our friends on school board to, bring them to a certain direction. But in the end, they would be making those decisions. But like I said, I would really push for even more of a partnership with the school board and the city as we move forward.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. Good luck for your run.
Thank you. Dave has a quick question.
Yeah, I have first a comment and then a question. First of all, the comment, bringing tech jobs to San Ramon, I fully support that. I'm a tech attorney, and unfortunately, most of the jobs are still in San Francisco or they're in Silicon Valley. And right now, I do work for Google. And Google doesn't have an East Bay office.
Yep.
So I jump on a bus at the Pleasanton Fairgrounds along with lots of other folks to do that. And I'm lucky to have a bus. If I was driving, God help me, like I might not even take a job. I've actually turned down jobs before because I don't want to do that drive. It would be my dream just to jump on Iron Horse Trail and like jump on my bike and go there. So I would encourage to something, within our power to try to encourage more tech companies, whether it's satellite offices where it's like, hey, there's just a place where your workers are here anyways. They're moving here because it's cheaper than living in Silicon Valley. It's why I moved here.
Yeah.
So I think there's opportunities there. I know there are some tech jobs, but by and large, they're still kind of concentrated in certain areas in the Bay Area. And a lot of people love the East Bay, want to move here. I think would be a great opportunity. My question is just, how's the campaign going? What can we do? Just very generally.
Yeah. And so I do want to address that first question. And again, that's been my thing. How do we bring these tech jobs? One of the things, we reestablished our partnership with Innovation Tri-Valley. If you are not familiar with that, Innovation Tri-Valley has been doing research, and their entire goal is to bring attention to the brain power of the Tri-Valley and bring jobs here. So in partnership with them, they're doing a 2040 plan rollout right now. San Ramon is very involved with that as well. And that's the goal, bringing attention of the brain power that lives in the East Bay, the opportunities that are here now in the Tri-Valley, and how do we, one, partner with an already existing organization that has the data, that has a seat at the table, and lead there, right? So when I say really lead there, it means how do we lead and bring these companies? An interesting story with Google was actually, I believe Bishop Ranch was trying to bring them here. One of the gaps they saw was our young population. So in San Ramon, the population between the ages of 18 and 29 is 3%. And so we just haven't built a town for that younger population, and the Googles and the tech companies are looking for that as well. So the idea of the new City Walk plan that is coming in front of council, where more than 60% of the housing is one-bedroom condos and one-bedroom apartments. The entire goal is to bring housing in a downtown, which is geared more towards a younger population as well, to be able to afford and live here. My son is 23. He's working and living in Irvine. He's home these days, which is great. But really, somebody like him could not afford to come and live in San Ramon, or would not have the $1 million to put towards buying a house, or even rental space is limited. So the City Walk plan, which is a 25-year plan, which is under consideration right now, one of the reasons that came to us and Sunset brought to us is they said, we're not able to attract some of the tech companies here because they don't see the population being able to live here. And so so those were, that's kind of the bigger conversation that we've had to see. So I would say there are two initiatives for sure going on. One is, with Innovation Tri-Valley, and how do we partner with them to attract these companies and attract investment, right? If you have incubators and accelerators in the community in one or two companies, that's how, Apple and Google ended up building that entire community and that tech ecosystem. And so encouraging that ecosystem here is another way of making sure that, we're just churning out these small companies, because if they are born out of the Tri-Valley, out of San Ramon, then there's more, they're more likely to stay here. And there's some great stories of that. So those are the things. And then thank you for asking about the campaign. We have volunteer people who've signed up through the volunteer page, join the team. We are sending out communication, and there's really three key things right now that we need help with. One is making phone calls to voters to get out the vote, talk about why you're supporting me. I can follow up with this call and send over that communication. The second one is writing postcards, handwritten postcards, and mailing those out to the voters, and getting word about the campaign. And the third one is, you can send an email to your friends and family here in San Ramon to say, why do you want to support the campaign? So I'd be happy to send that over as well. If you haven't received it, sometimes it comes through our MailChimp. So it falls in the other. It's interesting. One of my friend's daughter, who's 10 years old, wanted to write postcards, and it's really one or two lines, but some people just love writing postcards. And so whatever, is easiest. If you need a yard sign or something for your house, for your neighbor's house, also let us know, and we'll get that out to you. But yeah, those are the things we're really starting to, going to need help with, because it is very much going to be an organic, grassroots campaign where we want to get the word out.
You mentioned the challenge of bringing, sorry if I'm going over time, but I thought I should bring it up. You mentioned the challenge of bringing these Googles and Apples campuses or workstations in San Ramon is the age bracket. 18 to 29 is only, what, 3%?
3%.
But shouldn't the first step be to, and that age bracket, if you think about it, is the age bracket that goes to college. They don't go to work, right?
Well, up till 22.
Yeah, but some people end up doing masters or PhDs. Shouldn't that be part of your goal, be to bring in some campuses, like extension campuses?
So yes, we do have, we actually have the master's program from UC Davis in San Ramon.
Okay.
Again, I think people don't, those are the other things we've talked about bringing attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a community college in San Ramon. And this year, community colleges have been hugely popular, because a lot of, especially in the UCs, students are, since they're going to be remote, parents would rather just spend money on a community college, have them do their classes, for much cheaper, if it's all going to be online as well. And one of my goals, again, is in the follow-up some of these coffees to bring one of our community college board directors who lives in San Ramon as well, to come and talk about, how our community college is serving our residents in San Ramon. So yeah, we have an MBA program. I just had a conversation with them. Love to bring more attention to that, because it's right here in San Ramon through UC Davis. It's the same professors, and same with the community college. So yeah, I think some of it is a chicken and egg problem, but some of it is, you're right, we have some of these things here. So I think we're, a little bit over, which is great. I really appreciate you joining, Farouk and David and Adil and Arathi. She joined us earlier. So thank you so much. This was fun. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks.